Mr. Ahmed Hussen, Chair of the Board, esteemed governors and directors, distinguished delegates, honored guests, Premier of the British Virgin Islands, Honourable Natalie Wheatley, Premier of Montserrat, Honourable Joseph Farrell, and the Deputy Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honourable Dr. Geoffrey Hanley. It is an honor to be with all of you. It's time to draw the curtains on the 54th annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank. It has been quite a meeting. Thank you for the passion, the insights, and the commitment you have brought to our discussions. I come away from here today encouraged by the shared desire to emerge even stronger and focus on actionable solutions. Chair, yesterday, you called on us to unite in charting a course toward shared future prosperity and rally behind ideas and reform initiatives to set the standard for the rest of the world. I am thankful to each participant who committed to working together towards our common aims. This collective dedication exemplifies our shared commitment to not only envision, but actually forge a prosperous, resilient future through strengthened collaboration and strategic partnerships. I know I speak for all of you who journeyed here that we have been truly inspired. As I said at the beginning of this meeting, Canada is a true partner for the long haul, and the hosting of this meeting has symbolized this. When I reflect, one of the highlights for me was meeting with our governors to discuss the Bank of the Future, responding to the call for change, and hearing your perspectives on the development issues facing the region and the bank over the next decade. We have no shortage of challenges to tackle: education, energy security, climate change, water and sanitation, food security, and more. But I know that we are ready to transform these challenges into opportunities, in no small part because of the ingenuity of our partnerships for resilient prosperity for the next 10 years. The purpose of our discussion on the future of the bank was to have an open dialogue that empowers us to transform into the best development bank for our BMCs. Thanks to your insights, we now have a clear pivoting point for how we need to reevaluate and adjust our institutions' governance, mindset, partnerships, and operations. We understand, as you have so eloquently pointed out, that the strategies and approaches that guided us through our initial 54 years will not suffice for the next 54. This realization is the cornerstone of our strategy moving forward, and we fully embrace this moment of renewal. Over these last few days, we have covered a lot of ground. The William G. Dimas Lecture honors the memory of one of our region's most distinguished economic scholars and public servant. I know we all benefited this year from the insights of Mr. Paul Barnaby P.B. Scott, who shared his invaluable perspective as a regional entrepreneur. His talk on economic therapy for a frustrated regionalist left a lasting impression with me, and I'm sure for many others. We now possess a deeper comprehension of the challenges we need to surmount in order to foster collaboration that enhances scale and capacity. He outlined the conditions that will enable the private sector to reach its full potential in driving development in the Caribbean. This is a topic that we are treating with high priority and will continue to be a key focus area moving forward. We discussed the situation in Haiti. We were reminded of our collective duty towards not only understanding the complexities of the situation, but how we can contribute to building pragmatic, sustainable solutions. Our commitment here must be steadfast and enduring. We also deliberated on the strategic imperatives of the Special Development Fund. As discussed, the fund can further transform the physical and digital landscape of our countries, making them more resilient against the inevitable challenges of climate change, while simultaneously unlocking the untapped potential within our economies to enhance the lives of the people of the Caribbean. We held critical conversations on employment equity this week, laying bare the structural disparities that still haunt our labor market. Our spirited exchange of ideas and experiences underscored the urgent need for more inclusive policymaking that not only acknowledges the unique challenges faced by vulnerable groups, but actively involves them in crafting solutions. We delved into the efforts we can make together to achieve the value added of the cultural and creative economy, emphasized the importance of collaborative efforts to advance sustainable economic frameworks and cultural cohesion within Caribbean indigenous communities. By offering unique perspectives from fashion and audio-visual initiatives, we showcase the vibrant culture and enterprises of these communities. And we also explore the opportunities for accelerating our development through optimized trade connectivity and logistics, mapping a blueprint for the future, a future where the Caribbean moves as one, seamless in its trade, efficient in its logistics, competitive on the world stage, and where every nation, no matter the size, has a voice and a stake in the collective prosperity of our region. But these were not just discussions. These were working sessions in the true sense of the word. And we come away from here with clear action steps to continue advancing the bank's transformative agenda. During the Indigenous Peoples Forum, we deepened our exchanges with indigenous groups and learn more about the concrete ways in which we can help to ensure that their rights are protected and opportunities enhanced for their economic empowerment. Yesterday, the Youth Fire Forum gave us a prime example of CDB's commitment to meaningful engagement with young people and our acknowledgement that youth must be provided with opportunities to contribute to and lead on actions that accelerate progress for resilient prosperity. We have embraced the outcomes of both fora as presented earlier today. While our sessions have touched on a wide range of topics, the common thread that weaves through our discussion was the unyielding belief in the power of collaboration, partnerships, innovation, and strategic action. As we reflect on the rich insights and valuable recommendations that have emerged, let us always maintain a bias toward taking action, toward the seamless implementation of these strategies with a sense of urgency and a deep commitment to results and impact. In the days, months, and years ahead, let us carry forward the spirit of determination, unity, and optimism that has characterized this meeting. Let us recommit to building a Caribbean that outperforms expectations and exhibits influence on the global stage, that is rightfully recognized for its incredible natural, cultural, and economic force. As your acting president, I am filled with pride and hope. Pride in what we have accomplished together here, and hope for what we can achieve as we stand shoulder to shoulder facing the future with courage and resolute will. I thank each one of you for your invaluable contributions, your challenging questions, and your unwavering commitment to the Caribbean Development Bank, and more importantly, to the people of the Caribbean. Until we meet again, let us all continue the good work, inspired by the discussions we have had, and bolstered by the knowledge that together we can build a stronger, more prosperous, resilient Caribbean. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Acting President, for your remarks. Before I officially pass the baton to the next chair, please allow me to deliver my closing remarks. Good afternoon, everyone. Bon après-midi, distinguished members of the Caribbean Development Bank Board of Directors, Board of Governors, Executive and staff, Acting President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Isaac Solomon, and distinguished guests. Welcome to the closing ceremony of the annual meeting of the Caribbean Development Bank. I hope you've all enjoyed your stay in our nation's capital and that you've had an opportunity to explore a piece of Canada. Let me begin by once again acknowledging that we're all gathered on the unceded territory, the traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe peoples, who have had a very long stewardship over this land to time immemorial, and who continue to nurture this land that many of us call home. Au cours des 4 derniers jours, Ottawa a accueilli plus de 300 participants du monde entier à cette réunion annuelle des banques de développement des Caraïbes, avec des représentants des gouvernements, des organisations partenaires, des représentants autochtones, des jeunes délégués et des universitaires. Under the theme of Partnerships for Resilient Prosperity, we came together to emphasize the importance of regional and international collaboration as a driving force for sustainable development. In-depth discussions were had on some of the challenges facing the region, including climate change, natural disasters, humanitarian crisis in Haiti, the challenge of food security, the skills gap, and of course, the challenge of reducing poverty and fighting for more prosperity for all our communities. We discussed how the Caribbean Development Bank can be and should be a key player on addressing the impact of climate change on the region, how the Caribbean Development Bank can be and should be a key player in disaster preparedness and increasing the capacity to meet head-on those natural disasters that are so devastating to so many communities in the Caribbean, and gender equality and working together on inclusive economic growth that lifts up everyone and that is fair for every generation. We spoke about how best to promote equity and inclusion in labor markets. We spoke about how to mobilize private sector capital and investment and to improve the regional conditions so that they optimize and incentivize both investment, trade, and economic activity that benefits everyone. We also heard from regional youth and indigenous peoples to get their unique perspectives. I certainly benefited from engaging with my colleagues, with my colleague governors, on the future of the bank and the exciting potential of the bank's unique role to play in the future of this region, and how the bank is really well situated in having a deep understanding of the conditions, the priorities, and the realities of the Caribbean region in a way that no other financial institution has. So for me, it's been a productive few days, to say the least. And as I said yesterday, as a founding member of the Caribbean Development Bank and the largest contributor to the Special Development Bank, to the Special Development Fund, Canada is proud to invest in the Caribbean region's efforts to reduce poverty, to advance gender equality, to invest in renewable energy, and to take action on climate change, and to achieve more and more inclusive economic growth for its peoples. Canada will continue to work hard to help shape the future of the bank with you so that it can more effectively support borrowing members and help ensure a brighter future for the people of the Caribbean. Serving as chair of the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank this past year and working closely with such leaders from the region has really been a great privilege for me. It has not been a walk in the park, but it has been a very valuable learning experience on consensus building, on dialogue, on consultations, on listening more than speaking, and on taking constructive criticism from some of our colleagues. But to the incoming chair, Secretary Dr. Renata Amaral, I wish Brazil all the best as you take on this really crucial role of being the chair of the Board of Governors. And I hope you can continue to work with everyone to advance the Caribbean Development Bank's priorities and the success of this really important institution and this really important region. I was talking to some of my colleagues last night, and I said, you know, I'm a little biased. I said this in my opening speech as well. The Caribbean has given so many gifts to Canada. And from my own corner in Toronto, we got Caribana, which is now called the Toronto Caribbean Festival, as a gift to Canada on Canada's 100th birthday in 1967. And that gift keeps on giving, not just to improve our vibe and our rhythm, but it contributes $300 million to my city's economy, direct economic impact. And so the Caribbean people and the Caribbean region have been true friends and partners to Canada. And Canada has been a proud partner to you and has been a proud founding member of this bank. I believe that the Caribbean Development Bank can be an even stronger, more impactful tool to deliver on one thing and one thing only, on the wishes, the needs, and the aspirations of the people of the Caribbean. And that should always be our focus. And dealing with the governors over the past year as your chair has been, for me, a very enlightening experience to see the passion and the dedication that each and every governor brings to the table in terms of even the non-regional members, looking at them and listening to them on seeing how passionate they are on betting on the future of the Caribbean and its peoples. And it is that spirit that should inform our approach to the CDB, because it's a gem in our collection, and it is a great tool for us to collaborate on to deliver on the most important thing, which is the hopes, aspirations, and wishes of the great people of the Caribbean region. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. So I now turn back to the dour points in the scripted remarks. Brazil will assume the chairmanship of the Board of Governors at the close of this meeting, and I now invite the Governor for Brazil, Ms. Renata Vargas Amaral, to the podium to give introductory remarks as the chairperson-elect for 2024-2025. Of the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So, first thing I'm going to say before, thank you for your trust in Brazil, is that we need Penelope to work better on gender balance with this board. So that's my first request. Much better. We need to do better. So, Honourable Governors, it's a great honor for Brazil to host the next Caribbean Development Bank annual meeting. As one of the newest members of the bank, we embrace the challenge of organizing an annual meeting following this remarkable event hosted by Canada. I need to address a big thank you to all the governors for trusting Brazil to host the next annual meeting. It is truth that we had very important and somehow unfortunate discussions over the past couple of days, but I do feel your support for us hosting the meeting next year, and our conversations just made me be sure that we do need to work on improving the proceedings to choose the host country for the years to come, among other governance issues that cannot be postponed, and you can count on me for that. I would like to extend special thanks to the Minister of International Development of Canada, Ahmed, Hussen, for his team for your outstanding term as chair of the Board of Governors. As you know, Brazil has the G20 presidency, and our presidency this year is committed to enhancing multilateral development banks, aiming for them to become bigger, better, and more effective. The Caribbean Development Bank has the potential to achieve these goals in the short term, I would say. The bank is building a promising pathway by addressing capital adequacy framework measures, the G20 capital adequacy framework review recommendations, balance sheet optimization transactions, such as exposure exchanges presented to the board of directors, and the possible incorporations of a share of callable capital. And among our initiatives for the next months and years, I would say that we need to bring the private sector closer together to us. In this sense, I encourage the strengthening of the relationship with the private sector for the sustainable growth of the region, and the need for the bank to intensify its efforts to support private sector growth, lifting the private sector as a key partner for development. Honorable governors, these are not just words. I do believe that we do have the opportunity to reach the best potential of the bank. We need to close the void that currently exists between us, let's be honest, get to know ourselves better, and work together for the benefit of the bank. The Caribbean is among the regions most affected by climate change, facing adaptation challenges that individual countries cannot adequately address alone. And we heard at least 2 governors mentioning these problems this morning, earlier today. Multilateral institutions like the CDB are crucial in coordinating and funding solutions tailored to the region's needs. Therefore, the bank has to be more responsive while strengthening and developing the Caribbean Development Bank's capacity to answer to extraordinary situations caused by climate change is not optional. It is a mandatory task for all of us. Brazil places special emphasis on regional integration. We believe that economic, cultural, and political ties must be reinforced. The concept of distinct regions such as Latin America and the Caribbean should be reimagined as a single, unified region encompassing one environment and one people. The CDB has a unique role to play in this context. Our bank must demonstrate its real leadership in providing technical and financial solutions in the Caribbean, while also setting benchmark initiatives for other multilateral development banks. Governors, we are navigating a challenging period, and it's our responsibility to move forward. We must all engage fully with the bank and dedicate our attention and energy to the election of a new president and the negotiation of the 11th replenishment of the Special Development Fund. I want to especially commend the performance of the Caribbean Development Bank staff over the years. We recognize your efforts and hard work. You will be key for the success of our presidency. And also key for our success is the support of the governors, especially the governors of the Caribbean region, with your unique knowledge of the challenges and the opportunities in the region. Once more, I repeat, dear governors, we, the Board of Governors, the shareholders of the bank, borrowers or non-borrowers, regional or not, need to be united to build stronger alliances, trust each other, support each other in the benefit of the Caribbean Development Bank. On behalf of the Brazilian Brazilian government, and particularly on behalf of the Ministry of Planning and Budget and the Presidency of Brazil. I extend an early warm welcome to Brazil and hope to see you all in Brasilia next year. It's not real, I told you. I will assure you that together with a lot of hard work, there will be plenty of samba and caipirinha waiting for you down there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor. As part of the outgoing handover, the outgoing chairman will now present the card of continuance to the incoming chairperson.
Congratulations to Brazil to be elected as the chair-elect. I now invite, we will now have a promotional video on Brazil to be played at this moment.
We are 203 million Brazilians. Diversity is our strongest feature. Brazil produces $2.3 trillion in annual wealth. 60% of the Amazon is in our territory. In the past 2 years, Brazil has resumed growth, creating jobs and income for its citizens, ensuring food security for Brazilians in need. Eradicate hunger is our primary goal. Public education and health policies have been restored. Investments in industry, services, and agribusiness have increased. Deforestation decreased by 50% in the Amazon. We face the same challenges as our neighbors in the Americas and the Caribbean: poverty, inequality, energy transition, gender equality. Collaborating on solutions strengthens us all. Therefore, our commitment is to build an inclusive and sustainable world.
I will now call upon the Governor for Belize to come to the podium to move the resolution of appreciation.
This is the resolution of appreciation. The Board of Governors resolves to express its gratitude and appreciation to the chairperson, the Governor for Canada, for hosting the 54th annual meeting, which was held here in Ottawa, Canada, during the period June 17 to 20th, 2024. The chairperson declares the meeting closed. Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. I now declare the 54th 2024 meeting of the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank concluded. Thank you.